Well, hey there, guys. So it really is time for us to get this save back and going on track. I feel like we've taken a lot longer to get not so much accomplished. So let's go ahead and go straight back into this right here. We have another match coming up today. We are playing at home against Ottoborgen. If you haven't joined us at all, if this is your first time watching, we're with TSV Bobingen. We're in the 7th tier of the German league, and this is FM 2017. If you haven't noticed yet, this is, of course, because FM 26 is utterly unplayable and is garbage. We're in 7th place. Hopefully we can pick things up a little bit. We'll have 2 matches for you here today, and we'll see how this does. So I think we'll go ahead and just go with this team. This is the same team that we played last time. I don't think we have to take anyone out. Actually, you know what? We probably should put this guy back in, Said Saber, who is a very good player. And then Eckel, I think we'll take out. Eckel is pretty young, right? 20 years old. I guess he's not that young, but he hasn't played very well. This is the other guy right here who we might want to consider putting in. So I'm going to put him in here in place of Schreiber. And if Kutsu or Weiler end up not doing so well, we will put him in. So Pakarada is his name. Pakarada is a recent signing for us. One of the reasons why we have literally no money. And we probably want to use him to score some goals and win some games. So a lot of these signings were done really with next year in mind. We're not going to have much money next year either if we don't get promoted, and we're not going to get promoted. Saber shows us why he's important by getting rid of that ridiculousness 15 seconds into the match. And let's see what we can do. Power over to Özkul, but can't quite get to him. And it goes all the way back to Lehmann, and he walks after it very, very slowly. Finally picks it up over to Apostolou. And I'm not sure what that was, but whatever it was, we don't want to see more of it. Fulco, fortunately for us, is able to get his hands onto that one and able to save it. That looked really, really, really bad. And Özkul is able to head that one away. Brauer over to Kutsu. Ends up being a foul called on Ottoborgen, so we'll end up getting the ball back. But I was a little bit worried about that. Let's see what's going on here with this highlight. And I'm not quite sure why we're seeing this highlight. Oh, this is the reason why. It's because we kind of knocked it off of the head of Saber. I don't know how he made that mistake. It looks a lot cooler on the 2D mode. That's one of those where I kind of would prefer not to see it in 3D, but anyway, whatever. So there you have it. We are 5 points behind Ottoborgen in the whatever this is in the table, but that's not really necessarily a big problem for us, and we just gave up a goal. Rohraker has been playing very, very well here, and they're up 1-0, so that's definitely not what we wanted to see. I was about to say that if we could get a victory against this team, we would move up in the standings quite a bit. Rohraker, I'm pretty sure, was onside. You can go back and look and like make 100% sure, but I think that was clearing. And yeah, we're having some problems here. We're having some problems trying to get something going against this team. Saber can't get this corner. And Kutsu ends up winning this, knocks the referee out of the way, over to Michael, to Özkul. We had 2 guys playing the same place. There's Saber, over to Weiler. Saber looks like he doesn't know where he is and what he's doing. I have a feeling that he's actually playing better than what he looks like from what we've been seeing. But anyway, so it is. We're only seeing part of it, and we've given up a 2nd goal. And this is going to be a problem. So, yeah, it's going to be that kind of game, isn't it? So we give up this goal here on this set piece. We've had over 60% of the possession. And that looked really not so great in the 3D engine. So that's an example of FM17 not looking so good. Looked a lot better in 2D. So there you have it. And anyway, we need to do something here to get this turned around, or we're going to be way down, and this is not going to be much of a match. So this doesn't knock us down if we lose here. It doesn't knock us down very far. But of course, we don't want to lose. We want to be improving as a team. We don't want to be going back down. I think that we have a better team than Ottoborgen, but apparently we don't. I haven't even been able to look long enough at our players to see who's playing well and who isn't. Finga ends up winning this one. People have been telling me that Finga is not a very good player at his position, and they're correct. But the problem is that we don't have anybody else who can play there. Apostolo, and he takes a shot and it doesn't quite work. That's one of the issues that we've had here with sort of squad building. We have a bunch of really good midfielders who are too young to play on this squad. So when this season is done, we're going to have like a rethink through all of this. This, by the way, is one of the reasons why I usually will play with the World Super League and stuff like FM 24, FM 23, and so on. It's because the registration rules there are a little bit more... I don't know, they're a little bit nicer to you so that you don't have to do all of this stupid fiddling around with guys and you have to know like exactly what the registration rules are beforehand and all this other stuff. Because it's a really sort of like a feels bad man type situation when you've got a really good young player who you literally cannot play, who would otherwise be one of the best players in your team. We have 3 of them. So anyway, go figure. I'm not sure why we're seeing this foul on Brouwer, but that's what he did. He ended up knocking the guy to the ground. So good job, Brouwer. I don't know why we saw that. Anyway, everybody's having a relatively, like, maybe average game. This is not looking very good. So the players apparently were pretty upset that I had a couple of days off from playing the game. And that's the way that they reward us. Hopefully we can keep it at least within striking distance here. And Lehmann once again has a yellow card. I think that means he's got a suspension. And he has not been playing well at all. It looks like he's the one who's taking a lot of the blame for what's happening in the back. So we're going to end up taking him off right away. Yeah, we'll put Vergos on. Not that Vergos is much better, but that's what we'll do. Brouwer having a really, really poor match. So we're going to put Weiler. I've been waiting to do this for a little while. We'll put Pakarada in for him. Now, somebody was saying that they thought that Özkul was a grayed out player. He actually is not. Özkul is actually a normal player. He's not grayed out. So he wants to play in and win the 6th level, but he needs to be able to play in the 7th level first. Anyway, so we make our changes, and we'll see what the new guy's able to do. Let's see if we can score a couple goals. We can get this turned around, get a point out of this, and dare we ask, get 3 points out of this. That would be really nice. I doubt that will happen. So well, it was Saber with the ball, and we have ended up doing absolutely nothing with it. We only have 56% of the possession right now, as opposed to the 60+% that we had before, and we seem to be playing a little bit better. So maybe not having a bunch of possession kind of helps us. And it's going to be a goal kick to us once again. So not much is happening so far in this match. This has been a really drab match for us, and we're facing the rain as a result. Speaking of the rain, you've probably noticed that if you play FM 26, it rains like all the time, right? And they still haven't fixed it. So I don't know what's going on with that. We're supposed to get a new FM 26 patch out some point in time, but we haven't seen anything. So I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. We'll keep our fingers crossed, I suppose. Anyway, we'll see what happens. This is kind of an unusual setup here for our team. Kutsu having a poor match, and we may end up doing a substitution like right now to take him out. I've noticed that he has that consistency problem where he will have some good matches and then other times he just sort of falls apart. Kutsu, by the way, one of the reasons why he's good is because he's got good pace and acceleration ratings. That's really kind of what's going on with him. So anyway, I wonder if we put Kutsu up here and yeah, let's see here. We don't really have many people who can play there. We're going to put Rausch in, even though he's unable to play that position. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to switch Rausch up with, I don't know, like Mikhail, someone like that. Now, I can't figure out, like, who's playing in what position because you guys have, like, screwed this up so much. So, like, I don't know. We took Kutsu out, right? That's what we wanted to do. All right, so we'll confirm. We'll just push go. And there we go. So let's see how we do now with this totally rejiggered lineup about 65 minutes in. I get this feeling that there's this huge talent discrepancy at this level where you get some clubs that are like really, really good. Then you get these clubs that are just awful. And I think we've been playing really well against the awful clubs, and that's been it. Rieger was offside, and it took him forever to call it, so I don't really know what's going on with that. Anyway, I think that this is part of the attack that they had a little bit earlier, and Foucault made a save. I don't know if that was necessarily worth showing the replay, but that's what the computer decided to do, so we'll just go ahead and go along with it. We won't ask a lot of questions. We just do what we're told. There goes to Özkul, and we're trying to move it forward, and Rausch is not quite able to get onto that. Where is it? I have Rausch playing up in the middle again. That's right. Pakarada over to Weiler. Weiler to Flaig. Mikael. He goes back to Finger over to Weiler. Mikael. And that's the first real shot on goal I think we've had all day long. It's the third shot on target, but that's the first one I thought that actually had a chance of going in. Finger over to Rausch, who leaves in the middle for basically nobody. And so it ends up turning into nothing in the end, but this is sort of the way that this tactic is, I believe, supposed to work. So we kind of have a whole bunch of guys in the middle, and then we work to get somebody free. Pakarada ends up being free, and he ends up taking the shot, and it's saved, but it was a pretty good attempt. Finger now with the corner, and boy, we were very unfortunate and unlucky to not get ahead onto that one. That would have been very, very nice for us. We got about 10 minutes left, so it's kind of all over by the shouting. Looks like we're going to be stuck here on 33 points. Again, this would have been not such a bad result for us. 33 points when you... and there's his hat trick. Rohracher has the hat trick, so you knew that was going to happen. Let's see if I can sign this guy. So this is kind of what's happened here, right? Like, you knew that it's at the beginning of the season. If you had, he was offside. If you had thought at the beginning of the season, after all those losses, that that we were going to have 33 points, I think you'd be pretty happy about it. But you know, right now it's kind of a feels bad man type situation. So it is. And Pakarada looks really tired. That's the end of the match. We have lost this one 3-0. This was not really much of a match, I'll tell you that much. And this was absolutely the sort of match that we should be winning, and we really need to have a look at some of these guys like Apostolo and ask ourselves if we really want to keep paying money for guys who put in matches like that. Pakarada also didn't really do a lot to endear himself to me with that awful match, so maybe we should send him back to Kosovo. I don't know. Anyway, so we'll go back here to the post-match analysis. Everybody had a poor match. I've noticed that if Brouwer has a bad match, everybody has a bad match. So it is. Hopefully we can go back and win the next one, and I will come to you with that match in a second. All right, so in between these matches, as usual, I just want to remind you, if you enjoy these videos, please consider becoming a channel member on YouTube or consider supporting me through Patreon, because your financial support really makes it so that it's possible for me to continue doing these videos on a daily basis and to keep doing research and things like that. Thank you for your support. Now, before we get straight back into this next match, so there's some stuff I've really got to show you here. So we'll go ahead and jump straight on over here to this wonderful screen. If you're looking around, you'll see already what it is I'm talking about. So first of all, we're facing the impossible. We play Sonthofen 2, who are second in the league today. Nobody's giving us any chance of winning, so we can go do whatever we want. The second thing I noticed is that my assistant really hates Kutsu, and they're saying that he's not playing well enough to warrant a place in the team. They want me to replace him with Schreiber. If I were to replace him, it wouldn't be with Schreiber, but I don't understand this. I don't understand why they want to me to replace him. I guess he did have a 6.2 and then a 6.4. So maybe that is a sign that he's starting to collapse as a footballer. I don't know. It's just that when he plays well, he knocks in goals for fun, and he scored quite a few goals for us. But then again, it is true that he hasn't exactly been playing all that well recently. 7.15 average rating, though, 14 goals, 5 assists, 4 Player of the Match awards. I don't know. Like, if you're looking at like the coach report, though, you will see that he's inconsistent, which is where a lot of the inconsistency comes from. And so there you go. He's also not really all that professional. But because he's played well for us, I'm really reluctant to just take him out. Schreiber is, I think, maybe a little bit faster in terms of acceleration, but not really pace. The thing I wanted to say last time that I forgot is that Kutsu's good in part because he has an acceleration of, I mean, it's only 10, but also a pace of 12. So, you know, I mean, that's the other thing that we're kind of keeping in mind. Schreiber, like, I don't know, maybe we could put him over. He hasn't done very much for us. 4 appearances, 1 goal, and a 6.6 average rating. That's not really, like, going to win me over. So I don't know, maybe what we could do for this match is we could like just leave him off or something like that. But the other thing I did is I went over and got Rohracher, who's only 20 years old. This is a little bit more along the lines of what we wanted to do. So what I really wanted to do, he's slow though. You can see that that's a big problem. We're going to need to figure out a way to sort of, get him to be not so slow. But, the point behind all of this is that I mean, he's 20 years old. It's a signing, right? I wanted to do sort of a youth academy challenge, but it's been impossible because I started off the season with nothing but grayed out players. And for those who've been wondering, by the way, Özkul is not grayed out. See, there he is right there. Again, I know I mentioned that before, but yeah, he's not. He may have grayed out type player statistics or traits or whatever, but that's the way it is. Other thing is that they decided to extend my contract, and so I'm going to get a new contract. There you go. I'm supposed to make a big deal out of that, but we're not going to make a big deal out of that here because this channel is all about playing the game. We're not going to worry so much about going off and doing fancy stuff or whatever. So, I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Should we put Pakarada in instead of Kutu and go for it that way? I'm not sure. I think that might actually be an idea. So let's go ahead and see what happens if we just stick him in there in that role. And like, as you can see, like Tim Mikael, for example, has like no ability to play in his role. He's only 18 years old though. And this is the reason why I kind of do think we want to hold on to him. The reason again, why he's been playing well is the acceleration and pace are pretty high. So, I mean, there you have it. Let's see what we can do with this. We may be getting to the point here in the save where we're starting to think about that more than anything else. The other guy is this guy here, Jonas Rausch, who I have mostly as a midfielder. I've been forgetting to put him in. But since everybody doesn't like Hanno Finger, we're going to put Rausch in for him. So we'll do that. This is the guy we want to get. Akitsi is the guy we definitely want to get on this club instead. And instead of Berghold, we're going to stick Schreiber in there so that we have him in case we need him. So, we have 2 players who are banned for this match. I probably should have paid attention to that beforehand, huh? So we will have to stick Berghold in there. So you will go over to that side. And on the left side, trying to think. We'll probably put Vergos on. He's a little bit faster. And we'll put Patrick Eckel up there. He's not a very good player. So there we go. We're probably not going to win this match, which because this is Football Manager naturally means that we're going to end up with like some miraculous victory here or something like that. Anyways, let's see what we can do. We are not necessarily squarely in the top half of the table, but we're pretty close to it. And we would like to sort of stay up. A victory here would be very nice, but it wouldn't push us up much higher than 7th place. In fact, we're kind of settling into 7th place finish. There's Weiler with it in a lot of traffic, and it ends up going all the way back to Özkul, over to Rausch again, to Flyig. And so we'll start it over here from the bottom. Berghold, who has barely played at all this year, and he's got 3 guys around him right away. I kind of feel bad for him. He doesn't know what to do in that situation. And Saber, all he can do with that pass is just knock it back out for a throw. So anyway. We're about 3 minutes into this match, and they look like they are about to score. We'll see what we can do to prevent that from happening. And fortunately, Bowden's header ends up being totally wide of everything. So that absolutely was a sitter. I have no idea how in the world he ends up not scoring this goal. As you can see here, we're looking pretty bad defensively overall, and he ends up just beating his man, and for some reason he doesn't know where the goal is. So I mean, even the better teams at this level are not really that good. The second team sort of culture in Germany, of course, is one of those things that's a little bit rough to, hard to get used to, because you end up playing a bunch of second teams as you work your way through the system. So we're going to have to get used to it one way or another. Hopefully, I mean, when we move up from here, we're going to see a lot of second teams for better known, like Bundesliga clubs and stuff like that. And eventually we'll have our own second team as well. Hopefully some of these guys will still be around to sort of finish out the career playing at this level again. Power ends up having this taken away. So much for that. We have a long way to go before we can do that, though. We need to get this club to become fully professional, which means we need to do a little bit better in the league than this. So it's going to be a long, long save, but that's what you're in for, I suppose. Now, the one thing I'm not sure I'm so looking forward to is the big off-season, which is probably going to be very long. Oh, what a save by Fuchel, who shows that he really is one of the better keepers at this level, and he makes another good one right afterwards. The winter off-season was bad enough and took a long time enough, but when we have the summer off-season, man, that's going to be kind of painful. I'll have to figure out something to do to sort of get myself motivated to keep going. I want to try to do the save without holidaying through anything, but at some point in time I might have to actually consider it, so we'll see what we can do. I'm not sure why this ends up being a highlight for us. By the way, we're playing at their stadium. Oh, this is the reason why. And that wasn't actually a save. That was off of the crossbar. We're playing at an actual stadium, which is something that we're not really used to doing. We're used to playing out in the field. And it is actually a pretty good representation of what the stadium is like in Bobingen. But like I said before, I've seen it. It's not very much. There's not a lot by way of like places to sit. I've never seen a match there, though, but I have seen it from the outside. I can assure you that it's pretty much the way that Football Manager depicts it. Anyway, we have about 60% of the possession, which is amazing because we have not had 60% of the highlights. Bauer can't get it through the wall with Saber, and it's taken right away from him. He's offside anyway, it doesn't really matter. So still nothing. It could be a lot worse than it is, I suppose. We should be counting our blessings. Vergos goes back and gets this one and knocks it forward to Bauer, but he loses it. Rausch ends up with it. He's got a yellow card already. Bauer's playing way out of position, but we need him to play that position. I'm not sure why he's on this team. I'm not sure why I decided to go for this guy, but for one reason or another, I decided that he was probably good enough. It's been pretty poor roster management for me in general. It's going to probably take a couple of seasons to really get this turned around where like it makes some sense. And Aschenbrenner scores. He was always going to score. There was not much that we could really do about that. So we end up giving up the goal. It's 1-0 for our opponents. What is this? Sonthofen 2, I believe. And yeah, that was a great effort by Fuchel, but the defense just doesn't know what to do. Doesn't know what to do when it encounters that kind of passing game. And we have a long way to go. We have a lot of work to do here. And one of the kind of fun things about playing this game is I don't know any of the tricks for training, so I can't tell you like what to do to make sure your players have all the pace and acceleration. So, you know, what can I do? Like, all we can do is just sort of hope that we get some good young players that are developed. And by the way, we did have the youth intake a while ago. The youth intake in FM 17 is a lot different than it is in modern FM, just so you know. So we had a whole bunch of players come in. For some reason, a bunch of them were about 14 years old, and I think that that's got to have something to do with the way that this editor data file was put together. Because I'm pretty sure in FM 17 it wasn't normal to get 14-year-olds. But we have them. It's going to be a little while before we can play them. And there's Pacarada, who's up ahead of everybody. And, oh, man. I was going to say he ties it, and he doesn't. He hits the crossbar. So the headache continues. I bet that Kutsu would have put that in. I mean, just look at this. Look at how wide open he is. There's nobody even close to him. Nobody within miles of him. You can hear the gasp in the stadium. And then he does that. So it looks like it's going to be one of those days. We were down to 8th place if we end up losing here. Erkheim would end up on top of us. We could use a victory here, but I'm not sure that that's really in the cards today. If we could get a victory, that would be great. That would help us out a lot. But I think that we have a lot of sort of squad building to do ahead of us. I mean, the thing is that the summer transfer season and stuff like that is going to be pretty active. We're going to have a lot of work to do. That's definitely for sure. Because we've got to go through and rebuild, at the very least, this midfield. We will have some of these homegrown young players, but whether they'll be enough or not, I'm still not sure about. Anyway, Pacarada is having a really poor match. There's going to be Kutsu coming back in. Pacarada looks like he doesn't belong here. I hate to say that. I went and picked him up, and I'm just not impressed with what I'm seeing. So I may have to have a talk with the assistant manager about some of this advice. I don't think that it's particularly good. We'll see if Kutsu ends up getting rid of those consistency issues. I hate talking about the consistency issues, and the truth is that in Football Manager, when you look at like the testing and stuff, there's really not a lot of evidence that consistency, does that much in the long run. Pace and acceleration are much more important. Berghold with it over to Özkur, on to Michael. And Michael takes the shot for some reason from a long way away. Tim Michael, 18 years old, doesn't exactly know what he's doing all the time. So, we're giving him a chance. A lot of fans really like the fact that we signed him. Berghold over to Rausch. Back to Berghold. Rausch again, 4 for Kutsu. Kutsu looks a little bit better at it. It looks like he knows what he's doing. Michael with him now. And he's down to Vergos. There goes up to Flaig, to Brouwer. Brouwer forward to Mikhail, and that should have been a goal for Mikhail. I'm not sure what went wrong there, but that should have been really, really easy for him. Mikhail has the ability to score that, and he's scored goals like that in the past. And again, when you look at this, I mean, what was that? So there's probably, I think, about 3 shots that we've had here that really should have gone in. I'm wondering if there isn't some sort of morale issue at the team, on the team or something like that. And there you go. Weiler scores. Weiler gets his 20th of the season. How many is that for us that he has? I think number 3, something like that. And so that ties it. This was great, by the way, by Mikhail. And Weiler, of course, there's nobody around him, and he's always going to score that. So this is what we do. We go through the league, and we find the best players at every position that we have, and we just steal them away. That's what you do when you're in non-league, especially if they're young. Brouwer over to Flaig. I say non-league. I guess this technically is league, but most of these players are not even on contracts. Kutsu with the shot, and he's way offside. So much for that. That was a thought, I suppose. But you can't see if he's onside or offside from this angle. I mean, come on. I'm going to have a word with the director here. Well, he's clearly offside. Look at that. He's in front of everybody. Kutsu is over in line to, get something to eat. Forgotten that he's supposed to be playing the game according to the rules. Here's Aschenbrenner. And fortunately for us, he misses. We really don't have the ability to stop him. It's another player we should think about getting. So this was not exactly the best job by us defensively. We miss having, what's his name, Lorman, whatever his name is, who has the yellow cards and has to sit out today. Would have been really, really nice to have a good defense against a really good team, but this is sort of the way that it is. And that's what happens when we get a lot of yellow cards. This is the way that this whole season's been. Flaig back to Brouwer, and has it taken away. And so here they come. Aschenbrenner again, but Usko is able to get in front of it, looking for Kutsu, can't find him, and it is Brouwer who ends up bringing this over to Berghold. Sabia. Over to Kutsu. Kutsu, look at this. Look at the position that he has. Mikhail with it, and we're really making something happen now. Mikhail with a really good move, goes forward, great position. Weiler just, oh, what a save by Altena. What a save there by their keeper. So that barely prevents us from going ahead in this match. We still have time. It's back to Mikhail and over to Rausch, who knocks it in right away. What a great play by Rausch, and Saber ends up being offside. I don't even think he knows where he was. That was a great play, though, by Rausch, who's showing us what he's capable of doing. I really want him to be a midfielder, so we may see Rausch show up a lot more often from now on. But this was excellent by Mikhail, and a great shot by Weiler that is just saved. So this has been a great match so far, honestly. This is definitely worth the price of admission. And Power ends up with this here at the end of that corner. Over to Kutsu. Kutsu to Flaig, he just can't get there. And they pass it very, very far away. Berghold ends up with it, and he'll pass it down to Sabera. And I'm not sure who he was looking for. I think it was Kutsu. He wasn't paying much attention. It was kind of going to be a wrong way. Sabera does end up winning this, though. And we're trying to hold our position here, and I think we're going to be able to. Babel ends up with it. And Saber ends up preventing the goal, and it's Finkler with a header that goes over everyone's head. We've got about 10 minutes left in this match. We do like the way that this is going, but I tell you, if we could sneak out a victory here, that would be ideal. It would be wonderful if we could just sort of sneak it through a little bit. Well, time is ticking away. I've got my eyes up on the clock, trying to see what's happening there. You know, I haven't made very many substitutions after halftime. We haven't really needed it, though. We have a lot of guys who are playing very, very well. Of course, at this level, we only have one match per week. We don't have to worry that much about fatigue. We got about 6 minutes left on this one, plus some injury time. Long throw over to Vergos. That really was a long throw. It's an amazing distance. Mikhail over to Brouwer. Up to Flaig. There's something brewing over to Kutsu. Kutsu to Berghold to Flaig, and we've set it up. Brouwer now. Over Weiler to Mikhail. Weiler was offside, by the way, no side. And Brouwer with the shot and the goal. That's only his 5th goal of the season for us, and Brouwer shows that he's worth every penny we're paying him. We have gone ahead 2-1 in this match that we supposedly have no business even competing in. I mean, just look at this. So it's Mikhail over to Brouwer, and he just takes the shot from nowhere. We're used to seeing him try a crazy chip shot that goes over everyone's head, and he scores the goal. And we only have a couple minutes left here now. Let's see if we can hold on. And it's Vergos heading this away, or kicking it away rather, to Mikhail. Mikhail up to Brouwer. And now we got another move over to Weiler. Weiler's got numbers. I don't think he knows it. And he knocks it off of Moore. That'll give us a corner. Attendance of 4,272. It's the biggest attendance we've played in front of so far today, or so far this season. Definitely today. Brouwer knocks it forward again, because remember the only other match today was in front of a bunch of cows and trees. We have 1 minute of added time as well. So let's see if we can hold them for that 1 minute. Borkman, ends up having it blocked. Fast onto Aschenbrenner. Aschenbrenner's the danger man. And he does absolutely nothing with it. And he's got to be livid with his teammates. Let's see if Fuchel can get rid of this one as far as possible. We came very, very close to scoring again right here. Let's see, it was Brouwer knocking it in. It was actually the one before this that we came close to scoring. I think that it's showing us the complete replay here for some reason. Yeah, it's right here where Borkman had this attempt and it was knocked out. That wasn't really close to anything, to be honest with you. It was cool with it over the Sabel. Forward to Kutsu. Look at that movement around him. When we know the tactic, we know the tactic. Weiler back to Rausch. Over to Fly. We're just not going to let them have the ball, are we? Mikhail. Kutsu. Brouwer. And he's trying to move it into Kutsu, but he has it taken away by Aschenbrenner. And it's Dennerlein who's wide open, but Uzkur gets the ball away with the tackle and did not give up a penalty, and that is the important part. And this is the end of this match. We have emerged victorious, 2-1. I'm not sure how we did it, but we managed to do it. This is going to be a really long video. This match alone is about 20 minutes worth of Football Manager for you. Nobody gave us a chance out there, and you did it, and you did a great job. So it's got to be Brouwer. He's got to be the man of the match. Although, actually be Mikhail probably who gets it with the 2 assists. What a match that we had. We had 60% of the possession on the road against a team that is really, really good. This moves us up within striking distance. We have 5 matches left, if my count is correct. And so we might be able to nudge ourselves up into 6th, 5th, 4th, one of these places up here. It might not be the playoff place, but we don't really care so much about that. So there you have it. So I hope you enjoyed that. That was, at least for me, a lot of fun to play through. And I'll see you hopefully tomorrow with another one of these. We'll see if I can get my schedule turned around just right for that. And I'll talk with you later. Bye-bye.